I've got your energy stories for the third week of August 2023. And in the first one, in the aftermath of Maui's shocking and horrendous wildfire, utility Hawaiian Electric Company is being sued for not having de-energized its power lines in response to a combination of drought and high winds. While an official cause of the blaze, or blazes, may take some time to determine, videos taken by locals of live down lines and fires looks pretty damning. Smart sensing technology company Whisker Labs, which has dozens of sensors across the HECO service territory and 7 just in Lahaina, showed a total of 34 faults during the 6-hour overnight period when the conflagration took place. Voltage drops indicate energy being dissipated in an unusual fashion, potentially including sparks from downed lines. Whisker Labs CEO was quoted in the Washington Post as saying, "There were dozens and dozens of major faults on the grid, and any one of those could have been the ignition source for a fire." Unlike utilities in California, HECO did not have a public safety power shutoff plan to deal with the threat of high winds. The week after the fire, the company's debt rating was reduced to junk by rating agencies, while its stock price fell by 2/3 and the threat of bankruptcy loomed. What does this mean, big picture? Well, on the heels of the deadly California Camp Fire, in which PG&E was found guilty of manslaughter, and this terrible tragedy in Maui, every investor-owned utility in North America should be reevaluating its exposure to drought and wildfire and contemplating putting some kind of preemptive de-energizing plans into place. California's State Water Resources Control Board approved a Newsom administration plan to extend the life of 3 natural gas plants totaling several thousand megawatts through 2026 in order to maintain grid reliability. The California grid has recently become more fragile, partly as a result of more extreme heat events and wildfires, with recent modeling showing that by summer of 2025, in a worst-case scenario, extreme weather events could result in the state being 10,000 megawatts short of supply. China's battery behemoth CATL unveiled a new lithium iron phosphate battery, LFP, scheduled to enter mass production in late 2023 that can offer 250 miles of range in just 10 minutes of charging time, yielding a total range exceeding 435 miles per full charge. The battery can achieve an 80% state of charge in 10 minutes at room temps, or in 30 minutes at temps as low as 14 degrees Fahrenheit. Slow, cold weather charging has previously been a weak point of LFP batteries. Of note, through a license with CATL, Ford is planning to make LFP cells in Michigan, but Ford would not comment whether this new tech is included in that license. Batteries are hard to get right. Electric truck maker Nikola announced a recall of all 209 battery electric semi-trucks it has produced to date, following an investigation into a recent fire in one of its trucks. A coolant leak inside a battery pack was linked to a June 23rd fire in a truck parked at Nikola's headquarters. A second truck had a battery pack malfunction in early August, but that fault was remedied before it led to a fire. Nikola is now remotely monitoring all of its battery electric trucks for signs of a similar defect, noting that only 2 out of over 3,100 battery packs have had the problem. Operators can continue to use the trucks, but it's recommended that they park outside until the necessary repairs are made. Canary Media reports over 100 new clean energy facilities or expansions, totaling about $80 billion, that have been announced since the IRA was signed into law a year ago. It commented that in just the past 2 months, 20 additional manufacturing endeavors have been announced. Less than half the total projects, and 1/3 of investments, are from US-based companies, with South Korea and its massive investments in battery gigafactories accounting for nearly 1/3 of total monies to be invested. The Bureau of Ocean Energy Management has identified 2 areas totaling almost 220,000 acres and potentially yielding 2,600 megawatts of capacity for potential offshore leases off the coast of Oregon. Those numbers line up well with the state's goal of 3,000 megawatts of eventual offshore wind by 2030. These projects will use big machines, perhaps even larger than the 15-megawatt fixed-structure prototype turbine Vestas has recently been testing. That turbine just established a 24-hour industry record, pumping out 363 megawatt-hours of electricity in one day. By my calculations, that would supply the average U.S. household, which consumes a little bit under 30 kilowatt-hours daily, for 34.3 years. Well, that's all for this week. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next week.